Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Daniel. I'm one hell of a nerd, and today we're going to do something a little different. This isn't going to be your typical nerdy video. This is actually, I'm going to react and kind of talk about a situation that's developing currently in the streamer verse. If you aren't aware by now, there has been a shitstorm that has been kicked up because Hasan Piker said this.
But a real job doesn't suck the soul out of you. You know what I mean? In the same way that 9 hours of streaming absolutely will.
Now, here's the thing. That clip is out of context. So let's give you the full context.
9 hours of constant performance and people pleasing taps you out from social scenarios. After 9 hours of that, I could probably do physical labor. It would not bother me. But I can't do more social shit. That's my point. There are obviously real jobs out there that are good comparisons. Service sector, people-pleasing jobs would be very similar. Those are like, I think, customer service type. But like if you're an accountant or if you're even like in sales, my interactions with clients was limited, way more limited than like constantly having to do this for 9 hours with like a back and forth interaction for 9 hours. That's what like sucks your social battery and you just tap out after it.
All right. Now, I just want to cover some things real quick about this and just talk about what does socially draining mean, right? Because I've heard a lot of people talk about this, but no one really hits the nail on the head with this, okay? Socially draining means the willingness to speak and talk with other people in a social environment, meaning hanging out with your friends, talking to your wife, talking to your kids, having conversation just in general, being in the same room as another human being. All of that is social interaction. And it doesn't matter if it's somebody you see every day. It is all social interaction, right? So when Hasan says it's more socially draining, it means
my social battery runs out after 9.5 hours of streaming and I can't socialize adequately. And I worry that like I look like an asshole to random people. That was my point.
When you're done with work in your everyday job, you go home and you still want to talk to your wife. You still want to talk to your kids. You probably want to get on your video game and you want to talk to your friends on your video game or something of that nature. You go home, you still want to be around people. That's not always the case, as Hasan says, with the exception of retail or any customer service job for that matter, where you deal with tons and tons of people, right? And we're talking everyday people, like a client that is walking into your business and that is not bound by any job guidelines, rules, or restrictions, okay? When you have a customer step into your store, whatever store it may be, they can say and do basically whatever the fuck they want. And until they break enough rules, until they start breaking laws, you just have to put up with it. Because if they walk out the door and they don't buy anything or you don't do your job, you lost a customer, which puts pressure on your job, right? It will cause eventually for you to lose your job, right? So you just have to sit there and just be beaten in the face over and over and over again while these people will yell at you. The same thing is true with streaming, except for instead of the 100 people you see in a day at, let's say, your Walmart, you're being beat in the face with possibly thousands. And for someone as big as Hasan or Asmongold, it is tens of thousands of people, right? With those particular individuals, the higher echelon of, streaming, they have something that makes it even worse. Because generally speaking, when you walk into your everyday Taco Bell or Food Lion or fucking, Harris Teeter, wherever the fuck you're going, your Walmart, you don't sit there for hours on end just waiting on every single word that's being said by this person. your interaction with them is enough for you to get in the store and get out. You're not going to sit there for an hour, 30 minutes, however long, and listen to them speak and try to catch them in saying something stupid, right? And there's also, I mean, I guess there is a clip button. It's called your phone. But generally speaking, people don't just pull out their phones and fucking record you when you say something stupid so that they can then post it on the internet. And, you know, that happens, don't get me wrong, but it's less likely to happen in your everyday life. With a streamer, anything you say, anything you do, there's a clip button. And if you say something that makes you look stupid, if you say something that makes you seem unappreciative or makes you seem any of those things, they're to clip that. They're not going to put the context, as we very clearly established in the beginning of this, and they're going to hit you with it. And it's not going to matter what the context was. It's not going to matter what the intent was. The internet's going to do the internet thing, and they're just going to run with it like wildfire, and they're going to throw your reputation in the fucking dumpster. Also, I would just like to take the time to say that I actually had to watch Hasan's full, 25 minutes of the stream that this happened in, and he said this 10 minutes in, and before the 25-minute mark, the shit had spread like wildfire. Okay? So we're clear. If you watch this, and I strongly suggest you please watch this before you have an opinion, right? Literally in the fucking in the 25 minutes of his stream where this happens, where he says this thing, within 15 minutes after he says this, he literally proves the point of why streaming is so taxing on your social battery.
This is literally it. This is the point. This is why I don't, this is what it is. This is, you don't have any other fucking situation where you have a ton of cyber stalkers that get together, congregate in a fucking Reddit and upvote this into oblivion out of fucking context. Look at this. Talking about my dad and this is not normal, dude.
Which I've hated that term in the past, but I understand it in this context. Literally thousands of people within 15 minutes are making assumptions about him without hearing the entire thing in context. And they just assume he's just saying that fucking his job is harder than real workers. And that's not what he said. I just want to get that out before we actually go into the react portion of this. Because we are going to react to, I don't know who these people are. Abba and Preach. I'd also just like to point out at this point in time that I have never been a top-end streamer. I do not have thousands of dollars. I have had to work every single day of my life in almost entirely retail. So none of what I'm saying has anything to do with my position in any way, shape, or form, and strictly is just an opinion. But let's go ahead and get into this.
These guys got
What?
they choose to stream 9 hours.
100%.
They literally can turn it off after 4. They can turn it off after 5. But because they want to make more money, they keep streaming. And then they want to get up here and then complain about how hard it is. You're literally choosing.
Hey. When you wake up every day and you get up and you go to work, are you not choosing to go to work? Because what would happen if you didn't go to work? You wouldn't make money. And if you didn't make money, well, you wouldn't be able to pay your bills, right? Every person wakes up and makes a choice to go to work. Every day you make a choice to stay at your job for however many hours you were scheduled to be there. At any point in time, you could just say, I'm out. And also, in most places, you can say, I'm only available on these days at this time. And they have to work with you on that. Or they just won't hire you, one or the other. But if you have a job and you did set those rules, guess what? You chose your own hours. You still had choice.
It. That's like you do it for money and then complaining it hurts. Today's topic, or
Also, every day you go to work at a shit job that you can't stand, it's the same thing as smacking yourself in the face. And you wake up the next day and you choose to do it again. Just saying.
favorite socialist is getting in trouble. Hamas Piker.
See, him just saying that shit makes me understand where he is with this. He wants
That's the
to
nickname people
ruin
give him
Hasan.
online.
He doesn't care about
a
being
real
fair.
job can be gruesome. A
Now, we're
real
gonna skip
job
that
can make you
because we've
very
already done
tired.
this.
Job doesn't say that not.
Just keep listening. According to Hasan, people took him out of context. So let's
God. Shut that shit off, please. Shut up.
come on, just keep listening.
Oh my God.
Oh, yes. Let's react to a thing, but only hear the first half of it. Shut that shit off. I don't want to hear logic and reasoning and, maybe context. No. Let's just turn it off and be pissed off because we heard a part of something and didn't hear all of it. Yes. Fantastic.
What?
So a nurse is not that doesn't have a real job?
You know what? According to Hasan, people took him out of context. So let's see the full video.
Okay. That's the context. I don't know what jobs you worked at, but
I've
it
worked
seems
with
like
them
you
all.
don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
I do know.
And you're saying people that are not doing a people pleasing job. Sometimes the people that you have to please in your job are your bosses
Or coworkers.
or coworkers.
Here's the thing with your bosses and your coworkers. They have rules they have to follow. And if they don't follow them, you go to HR. And if they're in violation of these rules, they're penalized for it. A fucking random person in chat telling you to go kill yourself over and over again, they're not penalized. They can be banned. But you still see it. And for some of these people, that's all they see. Like, don't even get me fucking started at fucking women who play video games, because this is all they hear. Just fucking hate and negativity all the goddamn time. So, like, the internet is a terrible place. You guys make content on the internet. The fact that you don't get that is mind-boggling to me. But I'm gonna keep it going. I don't want to get stuck on anything.
Sometimes you're doing those jobs and they are the one that are draining you. Your coworkers.
I mean, that's true.
Your definition of what a client is very limited. A client can be someone from outside of your work, comes into your work, and then you have to serve them. But a client can also be other departments of your job that depend on your
clients
position.
Don't have to follow the rules
That's
and regulations
considered
of
a
your
client.
And that's people pleasing. When you have to work with other departments and have to bend over backwards to just make sure no problems exist, you are people pleasing.
Hey, every single relationship you have in your life requires people pleasing. When you go home to your wife or your girlfriend or your boyfriend and they go, "Hey, do I look fat in this?" Do you tell them they look fat if they do? When they ask you, "Do I look pretty?" If they don't look pretty, do you tell them? I bet you don't. And I bet you don't do it because there's consequence.
Every 6 months you have to have a report. And you're not dealing with people outside of your work. You're just dealing with people inside of your work. And every 6 months, your boss meets you and it's like, "Yeah, we're going to see how you're doing at the job." You have to please your people, which are your bosses and whatever standards that there is in the company.
Here's the truth about our favorite champagne socialist, okay?
Here's the thing. Yes, you have that. However many hours or whatever, or however many months every year you have this thing where your performance is reviewed. But here's the thing. You know what you're being reviewed on. This is your job, this is the expectations that are being held of you, and this is what you have to do to meet those expectations. As a streamer, you don't have any of that. Your employers are the people who watch you. Hasan Piker is Hasan Piker. Asmongold is Asmongold. Tim the Tatman, it's Tim the Tatman. Because people decided to watch him. Whether Twitch wanted them to be popular or not, they got popular because you, the individual, any person watching this video, chose to watch them over anyone else. So every single fucking person who watches you, they are your employer. Tim the Tatman even makes jokes about it all the time. He'd be like, hey guys, I just want to let you know I'm putting in a vacation request. Because Tim works for you, the viewer. But he doesn't have any guidelines. He doesn't have any performance metrics. He just does shit and hopes it makes everybody happy. And if it doesn't, well, fuck. That's a loss in possible earnings. That's a loss in possible viewers. Because there is no fucking guidelines, rules. Because it's a meritocracy. As Asmongold says in one of his videos, Twitch is a meritocracy. Which means that the people on top are put there by the people on bottom.
He comes from one of the richest families in Turkey. Okay, he's incredibly wealthy. He's always been
none of
a
that's
family,
relevant.
And so this trust fund
none
baby
of that is
goes
relevant.
on to be a very successful streamer and makes it.
Sounds
You don't
like
really
you're
know
jealous,
about
bud.
this hard work life. That's why a lot of these dudes who before the people never come from backgrounds that are actually of the people. He is top 1% today, and even back then when it was part of his family, he was top 0.1%.
Yes, because I'm sure you knew him way back then, and you knew him,
talking about
and you
work
knew
and
his
everybody
personal
misunderstanding, and
circumstances,
they're being
his
really
family's
stupid and low IQ when they
circumstances,
listen to his
and everything about him, right?
This is just a brat who's always
I hate
been a
when
big
people
rich brat,
assume shit
and he's
about
talking about
people
real
that
jobs
they
like he
didn't
has
know.
experience, but he doesn't. And he's not the only one, because Asmongold, okay, reacted to this. I actually like Asmon. I think Asmongold is cool, even if he looks homeless every day.
Asmongold really do be looking homeless all the time. I'm sorry to say it. He always looked homeless. Man makes more money than I'll ever make in my entire life. Looks like he could literally be on the side of the street at any point in time.
Homeless millionaire streamer. This has been my opinion observing most streamers and content creators. Most of them are completely out of touch with reality.
So people getting mad. It's a bad take. What's it a bad take of? He says that he gets exhausted socially because he's talking to people for 9 hours a day. You really think that's not true?
That's not what he said.
I mean, you really think it's not true?
I mean, that is what
That's not the only thing that he said. He didn't say that he's drained because he's working 9 hours a day and he's talking to people for 9 hours a day. I can understand that. I can understand the fact that you're going to be drained talking. He said that his job is more draining than any normal job.
Stop. Context matters. You keep saying draining. He didn't say anything about draining, because draining can be physically, emotionally, mentally. He said socially draining, which is a completely different thing, as we established at the beginning of this video. I can be happy in here and just not want to fucking talk to other people right now. Those are real things that can happen. I can be perfectly healthy and want to just go play fucking Skyrim, bro, and just not talk to anybody else in the world.
Excluding retail, to be fair.
And life doesn't work like that.
Nope.
If he just had said, my work, what I do right now, is extremely
also,
draining.
some of the context is
You would've
the
just
job
said
he
that.
worked at was an
I would've
office
been like,
job,
yeah,
which I
my
think
man.
would have.
But what did he say?
But you said that your job is more draining than any normal real job. No. Fucking no, my guy. It doesn't work like that. The world doesn't work like that. Nothing works like that. But what, you're gonna include nurses? You're gonna talk to me about people in the force?
Yeah, but they're saying socially doesn't drain their batteries.
It could. You're dealing. What are you talking?
Could. That's the whole fucking point. could drain them. As a streamer, it does. When you have all those people in your chat constantly, it always does. Not that I would know, because I have 4 fucking people in my goddamn chat at any given time, but that's not the point. The point is, for someone like Hasan or Asmongold, they are being drained the whole time they're streaming. It's not a could be, it is.
I know you trolling. You just trolling.
But I think his point is that a lot of these people who work in these kinds of jobs after work, they like to go out. They like to go out, grab beers. You know what I mean? Accountants will do that, but then
that's not everybody. That's a couple of people. And if it was so, the city would be filled with happy hour would be every day. Happy hour is.
I live in North Carolina. And for the longest time, I commuted to work to Raleigh, which is roughly an hour and a half away from where I live. Okay? Raleigh is the capital. Okay? Raleigh is always busy. Always. At literally any point in time in the night. Because when the average Joe goes home, clubs are open. And bars are open. So those same people that you are saying don't exist because happy hour, whatever the fuck that has any relevance to do with anything, right? They do exist because businesses like clubs exist. And if you think that people in there are not people who got off work, went home, got ready, and then went to the club, you're fooling yourself, my man. Okay? And again, back to what I said in the beginning, which I believe he actually talks about, just going home and talking to your wife and kids. That is socializing. And the worst part is you have to do that shit. No matter how draining it is, or how drained you are.
On Thursday. It would be filled with people every night. Now, some people, they go home. You know why they go home? Because after they go to work, even if they don't feel like it, they got families to attend to. And they got to do that. That is so out of touch. That is stupid take.
All right.
And him backing
let it play for a little bit, and then we'll go.
That after you spend 9 hours being investigated by thousands of people with every facial movement, everything you say, every word, with people constantly trying to disagree with you and fight with you, that's not socially draining. This is totally understandable.
Do you want to know the biggest privilege these guys got?
Got what?
They choose to stream 9 hours.
100%.
They literally can turn it off.
This whole fucking point just
they can turn it off
right
after make more money. Mm-hmm. Who here gets to choose their fucking hours at work?
Mm-hmm.
You do.
Not a lot of people.
The fact that you guys even have the gall to compare yourselves to regular people when your extra hours of labor are rewarded with more and more money is insane.
Huh. Overtime isn't a thing. Crazy.
The levels of disconnected people.
Everywhere.
Like, why should we feel any sympathy or give a shit about
in
what
America,
your struggles
overtime
is? You're literally choosing it. That's like you do it for money and then complaining it hurts.
Wow, this slap was hard. Slap softer.
Wow, this job was hard. Guess I gotta wake up tomorrow and do it
man.
again. Same thing.
Nobody cares. You have a job where you're extremely gifted and privileged. Nobody cares. You choose your hours.
He never said he wasn't extremely gifted or privileged.
And certainly, if you're
I'm a profoundly fortunate individual. This is the lottery.
gonna talk about it, don't compare yourself to regular people.
I'm even gonna throw OnlyFans models in there. And all the ex-workers and stuff like that. Because what they have to do to make the money that shut the f*** up.
Yes.
Because I wouldn't do that.
No.
Shout outs to them.
Turn it off.
The shit that they would have to do to make that amount, shut up.
Do you guys realize?
Oh my
literally,
days.
if they wanted to, this is something that you regular people can't do because you're literally gonna.
Here's what I'll say. As far as like OnlyFans and shit goes, I actually say that OnlyFans is is easier and less socially draining, and here's why, okay? I'm only going to use women as an example because I'm a man, so I understand what it's like. You're an attractive woman. You have body parts that you know men want to see. You post a picture. Do you have to interact with them? Do you have to talk to them? Do you have to do anything with those people? No. You post that photo, you put a caption on it, you sit it and you forget it. And you watch the money roll in. Sure, do people shit on them for it? Yeah, but they don't have to look at the comments. A streamer's job is being interactive. You have to watch the chat. That is a part of a streamer's job. It is not a part of an OnlyFans model's job. Because guess what? I might fucking hate that you didn't respond to me. But guess what? I still like them titties though. So you're even wrong about that.
Lose your homes. You know what they need to do just to solve all their problems?
Not do it!
Hey, like I said earlier, crazy. You can just not go to work. Solve all your problems, right? You don't like the stress of going to work? Cool, you just stop doing it. How's that any different? This is how he makes his living. Like, and you might be able to say, oh, well, he could just fall back on his family's money. What the fuck ever. He clearly is not trying to do that. That's why he streams 9 hours every day. And look, I'm not a huge Hasan fan, so that we're clear here. I actually disagree with Hasan a lot. I feel like Hasan, borderline, is an extremist on a lot of his opinions, right? But he is working his ass off so that he doesn't have to rely on his family or whatever money he had beforehand. He chooses that. Just like you get up every day, you go to work, and you choose that shit. Because if you could stream, if you could do what he does and be successful in it, you do it too. But you can't. I can't. And I have a stream schedule. I have fucking overlay set up. I have all the technology at my fucking fingertips. But I just haven't gotten there yet.
Turn that shit up. Do it again. Do it again. Do it again.
I'm gonna turn it off.
Do it again. Do it again. Do it again. Do it again.
This is so obnoxious.
Do it again. Do it again.
This is actually obnoxious.
Someone actually said real job. What does that mean? A real job is a job that you have. Bullshit jobs are the ones that other people have. It's just that simple.
No. Okay, this is what I don't understand. If
Asmongold is completely wrong on that. Any reaction they have to this, 100% justified. Asmongold fucked up when he said that. And just so we're clear, again, I think Hasan probably worded it very poorly. The whole real jobs thing, that was pretty dumb for him to say that, honestly. However, if you watch it all of it in context, you can very clearly understand that is not what he was trying to say. This is not a Pokemon situation. All right, where Pokemon has very clearly over and over and over again shown that she sees her viewers as less than her.
These people ever work. What a bullshit job is a job where you are paid to literally just exist. You're a number. Like, if you've ever worked for the government, there's a lot of bullshit jobs there. Why? Because the government just got money to spend. They got to meet certain quotas. So they literally hire people. I've been told this on my job. You're there to look busy. Do you know how fucking crazy that is? That is a bullshit job. I could get my 8 hours of work done in 2 hours, but I have to not do that so I can look busy throughout, or else if I finish it too fast and I'm too productive, either they give me another bunch of bullshit work, or they'll just literally tell me you're reprimanded for not doing your job. What the fuck is that? That is what it's called, a bullshit job. Those exist. Those exist in huge numbers. And then there's real jobs. They're not the same thing.
He makes thousands of dollars a day. Him making takes, trying to relate to normal working people is fucking stupid. Well, there are normal working people that also make thousands of dollars a day. So, like, I don't really understand, like, what your point is.
Yeah, I mean...
Okay.
I don't know what working people you know, the normal working people that are making thousands of dollars. You guys know what thousands of dollars a day is? Let's say, granted, let's say it's $3,000 a day. Do you know how much that is over the course of a whole month?
That's a lot.
That's $90,000 a month.
Nobody.
You think there's people?
There are people who make that much money in a day. Lawyers, doctors, Wall Street, politicians. And yes, those people are not normal jobs, but your take here is dumb because those people do exist.
Out here,
Nobody does that.
making anywhere from 60 to 70, making close to $1 million a year.
Nobody does that.
That's not normal people. No, they're not.
CEOs from companies sometimes.
Actually, I'm curious. I'm curious now. Let's look up how much Hasan Piker makes in a year. Hasan Piker yearly income. Oh shit. Okay. Hasan makes a lot of fucking money. Holy shit.
Don't even do that. Stop.
This is the problem, okay? And this is what streamers and content creators, okay? Your job, okay? Is it difficult? Maybe, yes. Nobody cares. Shut the fuck up about it. You want to know why? Because you're well compensated. Extremely well compensated for the level of difficulty of your job. And this is how most people internalize this and whether or not they want to hear about your suffering. How difficult is your job? How well do you get compensated for?
So this is a kind of a sidebar thing, right? No one in America gets compensated as they should, period. Right? No one. But at the end of the day, and Hasan would hate to hear this, but he is literally the epitome of capitalism in this sense of you earned it. Hasan makes as much money as Hasan makes because people find him entertaining. So people watch him. And he gets paid for people watching him. If Hasan was a shitty fucking streamer and was really bad at it, then guess what? He wouldn't make any money. I am new to streaming. I don't want to say I'm terrible, but I'm probably not as good as, Ludwig or Hasan or any of those people. So I don't get paid for it. Right? It's that simple. You can't take that shit away from him. I don't give a fuck if you're saying, oh, well, because you're well compensated for your job, people get pissed off. Okay, well, that's on them. Work your ass off and be the best at something and have, 2.5 million followers and you can do it too. And I'm not saying it's easy by any stretch of the imagination, right? But it wasn't easy for Hasan either. He had to get there. He had to become this thing. And he has earned that right to make that money. I mean, there are streamers that burn out and they have no money anymore, right? But the streamers that are still well and often alive and whatnot, they have to bust their ass. If Hasan went missing for a month, if he just said, fuck it, I'm gone for a month, and this has been well documented for a lot of people, and comes back, he's not going to have the same people there. He'll have a lot less people, and he'll make less money. He's not allowed to just fucking go off and disappear. It's why streamers hate, like, taking time off. It's why they stream almost every fucking day. If that is your job, that's what you do. Every day you stream. You grind like it is a 9 to 5. The only difference is you get to choose what your 9 to 5 is.
If your job is extremely difficult and hard to manage, but you get paid peanuts, complain as you want. I will never get mad at a garbage man.
And who the fuck are you, or anybody for that matter, to dictate whether someone can complain or not? Do you realize how fucking asinine that is? You were saying that you get to impede on someone else's freedom of speech because you don't like it? You think that person shouldn't be able to talk about what they want to because they are well compensated for their job? How dare they? That's insane. That is so asinine.
For whining about their job. Wanna know why? Because they get peanuts to go pick up your fucking trash. Go ahead.
Actually, garbage.
Your guys' difficulty level may be at a 4 or 5. But you get compensated so goddamn well, nobody trying to hear that shit. Whenever people come to me like, man, isn't YouTube shit hard? I'm like, yeah, I guess.
It is, but
I get paid so well, I'm going to shut the fuck up about it. That's what it is. Because I'm not going to go back to my old job. Want to know why? Because I used to get paid shit to do extremely hard work there. That's most people's reality. Most people are not being compensated half as well as the difficulty of their job. So they don't want to hear you bitch and moan about the fact that it's so socially draining. Like they don't got to deal with the same shit for 1/100th of your paycheck. You're asking for sympathy whilst also belittling their experience. Talk about.
Was he asking for sympathy or was he addressing chat? Hasan interacts with his chat. It's not like he would just randomly just start bitching about being socially drained. Clearly, it was brought up in chat and he responded to it as his job dictates him to do. It's not like the guy goes on fucking Twitter every day and is like, oh man, I'm so fucking tired of this. This is so fucking stupid, and still gets on. That's not what happened. He made one comment and the whole fucking internet lost their goddamn minds.
How much harder you have it. Bro, you're not going to get nobody's sympathy. And if you don't understand that, that's because you're fucking out of touch. Nobody's trying to hear that shit.
Socially draining.
And I know Asmongold knows this because a while back, he was telling game developers, I don't give a how hard your shit is. Nobody's trying to hear it. Make the fucking games.
Xavier's tweet was well-intentioned, and he went on to add a lot of important...
He made a lot of very good points.
But I think it misses the perspective of the consumer.
But yeah, it does. And this is the thing, is developers need to stop. Like, nobody gives a fuck about, it's so hard. Shut the fuck up, pussy. Stop crying. Either do it or you don't. Holy fuck. Just like nobody cares about, it's so hard. Bro, you're talking to people that work in construction and you're going to say that it's hard? Your job could be more demanding
also,
than that.
Again,
I don't know. But guess what? To them, it's not.
Taking out of context.
But now when it's you guys, like, we want, and you expect sympathy for what reason?
Because again, the only thing that was stated was it is more socially draining, which is accurate.
Guys, you get paid millions of dollars. Half of the time, you guys sit there on the screen shutting the fuck up while something else plays, okay? You're just reacting, or sometimes...
I'll be honest, React content's pretty awful. Which I know I'm saying that now, and I'm reacting to someone's video, but here's the thing. I was just going to make this video and not react in any way, shape, or form because I started watching this, but I felt like writing it all out and trying to put it in there and then having no context as to what I'm responding to made it not cohesive, I guess. So that's why I did the React format that I'm doing.
You play the fucking video and you leave your screen for 30 minutes. You eat on the job. Like, don't pretend like this shit is crazy.
Everybody eats on the job.
Is it socially draining? Sure, I could see that. Don't act like your job is special in comparison to others. It's not. It's not. Being in the military, socially draining. Working sales, socially draining.
Not socially draining.
Even when I didn't even have to work, when I was doing remote work and to just be myself with my coworkers, it was socially draining to have to fucking sit in Zoom calls and listen to people babble about some dumb shit. Or sitting there and looking at fucking spreadsheet and then having to type shit out and my brain just...
Do you know why what you just said is so fucking ignorant? Let me explain it to you. Because you said why you sit on a Zoom call. So the same thing you were bitching at Hasan for, you're also doing. You're just sitting there while other people talk. And you're bitching about it. Huh, crazy. Huh. Crazy. You can zone out. You can fucking alt-tab out. You can fucking... Like, you don't have to listen to them. You don't have to care what they're saying most of the time in those Zoom meetings. Right? You're there just because you have to be there. It's not socially draining. You're not being social with these people. You're talking to them about your job, which is something completely different. You don't have to make them like you. You don't have to make them find you funny. You don't have to make them find you interesting. You have to execute your job, which you have very specific guidelines on how to do. And you can prove you are executing on that job by going, hey, these are my guidelines. This is what I've been doing. I'm following said guidelines. Streamers don't have that.
Wants to melt. You think after that I want to go talk to a bunch of people?
Is a YouTube game hard? I don't know. What you do for a living? I'm a pastry chef. What time do you get up in the morning? Every morning I wake up at 5 in the morning. I gotta be the pastry, but that's worse than my boss. My boss has to be be there at 3 to get the orders in and this and that and that and that and everything and stuff. And how much is that? Oh, that's 12 hours. My job is good. My job is good. What the fuck you mean? I get to talk to people and I make so much money, more money than I haven't done in my life. But it's so hard because of the comments and everything.
That's not.
Stuff, and I get to take.
Again, this is the shit that pisses me off because this is not the tone Hasan had. He wasn't whining about it. He was addressing something that was said and strictly stating a fact. Or what he believed to be a fact. His opinion. That was it. It was not constant whining. It was not saying, woe is me. He was saying, I think my job is more socially draining than most others. That's what he said. So why don't you stop taking shit out of context? Why don't you stop putting words in the man's mouth and listen to what the fuck he said and then talk about that?
Breaks whenever the fuck you see how it sounds. All the people that are like, Hasan, you're dumb. You're talking to people that cannot that they're not even understanding and that never had to understand what you're doing and what you're living. And as a matter of fact, I am glad that all this happened, all this in my life happened, the YouTube game and the comedy and this and that and whatever happened now. So even though I am here where I'm at right now.
Because you're greedy. Because you're greedy. That's it. Just turn it off. This is so stressful, bro.
Look, man, I understand where people are coming from in the sense that they feel like he has it, but something that my mentor taught me really early on is that everyone's rock bottom is different. Your worst day is not everyone else's worst day. And comparing yourselves to other people doesn't do anything for you or them. Yes, that millionaire who just lost all of his money but still has a really nice house and all these nice cars and shit like that. You're like, well, fuck. Why is he bitching and complaining? I bust my ass every day in retail. Yeah, but his whole life has been this high, right? His whole life has been up here. Now his life is down here. That is his rock bottom. And while your rock bottom and your high is nowhere near that person's, it doesn't matter. Everything is relative when it comes to people's worst and best moments. This is why what I say every time at the end of my streams, at the end of my videos, is so important. It doesn't matter who they are. Call someone, tell them you love them, you care about them, you appreciate them. They need to hear it. Because you don't know what's going on with them. You don't know what's going on with anybody. Human beings are complex. We are not as simple as black and white in any capacity. And being human means you have the ability, the capacity to have empathy for other beings in the world. And we, as a society, actively choose just not to do that. As much as you want to say, all of you people in his chat, all of you people making videos, Abba and Preach, as much as you guys want to say he's disconnected and he's out of touch, are you a streamer? Do you do his job every day? Do you know what it's like after he gets done with thousands of people fucking bashing him, disagreeing with him, trying to find flaws in everything he says all goddamn day? Do you know what that's like? I don't. I've had a couple of people come into my stream and just shit talk me before, and I fucking lost it. It fucking pissed me off to no extent. So I couldn't imagine what it'd be like having thousands of people do that. All right. That's all I wanted to say. I just want to get my point across. I am your average everyday Joe. I have had all those jobs. I still have to work those jobs. I am not a professional streamer or a top 1% streamer or content creator. I do not make lots of money. I do this because I want to do it, because I want a community to build and grow with, and I want to be able to introduce people to cool things and all this shit. So I have all of the proper experience, and I still think he's right. And not only is he right, it's crazy that you fucking people think it's okay to just tear him down because he had a fucking opinion. How dare he? It's okay to have a conversation with somebody, as long as it's constructive and it's kind and it's empathetic with each other. The minute you forget that, the minute that you forget you are a human being, and what makes us human is our connection to each other and the ability to connect to each other, nothing you say matters after you ignore that. Anyways, my name is Daniel. I'm one hell of a nerd. I know this has been a weird video. I apologize, but it felt like I needed to say it. I really wanted to say it. We'll see you in the next one. Make sure to tell somebody you love them. You never know when they need to hear it. Bye-bye. I didn't dab. It's fine. It was a weird thing. It wasn't a dab.